And she's absolutely correct. I mean, any school board member that doesn't support school choice is not thinking in the best interests of the academic education of the children in the school. And 6 of the 7 board members are dead set against any type of competition. And you heard me talk about the dismal academic proficiency results here. We need choices, and she's 100% right. I'd like to turn it over now. We have two more speakers. One is a parent who has worked very passionately towards making the types of changes and the necessities of the things that we're talking about here. Trudy Tibbles.
Trudy!
Hello there. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a great time here. Great weather that we're having. Thanks. Tonight I want to talk about gender dysphoria, policy 443, and suicide. Gender dysphoria, you might want to, PG, whatever this would be for kids, sorry about that. Gender dysphoria is the only medical or mental illness that FCPS is handling differently. Every other physical or mental illness that a student has or claims to have has to be documented by a medical professional. As you all know, you have to have a doctor's note just for your child to take a Tylenol, right? There are no other physical or mental illnesses where FCPS automatically believes and affirms a child's diagnosis, self-diagnosis. Gender dysphoria is the only one. Could you imagine what they would do if a child went into school and said, I no longer feel diabetic. I'm not going to take my medicine that I take at the nurse's office. I'm just going to go about my day and I hope I don't die. I mean, can you really imagine this? Could you imagine if a person had schizophrenia or bulimia or anorexia and just decided they weren't going to take their medication and the school just said, okay, if that's what you say you are, then we're good to go. No, that's not how it works. The LGBTQ community, some of whom are here tonight with us at this rally, would have us believe that every child who decides they are transgender will be in danger from their very own parents for being abused, kicked out of the house, left to become homeless, and then will commit suicide. Out of those families that I know that have gender questioning children, every single family knew about and accepted their children exactly as they are. They did not abuse their children. They did not kick their children out of the house and force their children to become homeless. And their children did not commit suicide. I don't know about you, but, with this new math and everything, but that's 100% acceptance rate. 100%. So I have no idea where the LGBTQ plus community is coming up with their high statistics of suicide, those high numbers that they keep throwing out at us. So, these children are accepted and affirmed at FCPS and socially transitioned at FCPS without their parents' knowledge or permission. Once they are socially transitioned, it is much more likely that they will then go on to become medically transitioned by use of puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and mutilating surgeries. And many of them will realize that all of the medical transition that they have done to themselves did not solve all their problems. And they will become so disillusioned, so frustrated, and so despondent that they will then commit suicide. So my question today is this: which suicide is worse? Scenario number one would be the child who commits suicide because they don't socially accepted as transgender. Scenario number 2 is the child who has been socially accepted at FCPS as transgender, continues to medically transition to their desired gender with chemically altering drugs and hormones and with mutilating surgeries, and then realizes that all their problems did not go away, and then commits suicide. So I'm going to ask you again, which scenario is worse? Scenario number 1 or scenario number 2? We don't hate you. We've never hated you. That's just something you believe. We don't have to listen to what...
All right, Trudy, keep going.
Anyway,
keep going, Trudy.
I think that we can all agree that both scenario number 1 and scenario number 2 are absolutely horrific outcomes to any child's life. I think we can all agree that no one wants to see either scenario happen. I think we can all agree that we want all children to be safe and happy. I think we can all agree. I think we can all agree that FCPS and this Board of Education agreeing and affirming a child's self-diagnosis of gender dysphoria without any medical professional being involved whatsoever is not the best way to handle gender dysphoria.
Right.
Thank you. Many countries in Europe and around the world, including Finland, Sweden, Norway, and the UK, just to name a few, have changed from their gender affirmation model of care to a wait-and-see approach to handling gender dysphoria. I think we can all agree that FCPS and this Board of Education need to adopt this same approach of wait and see to all gender questioning students at FCPS, if not for any other reason than that of the students' medical safety and well-being. And I think we can all agree that any members of this Board of Education and previous boards of education who have approved Policy 443 and still to this day agree with Policy 443 and who agree with teaching gender ideology as fact to our children when it is not fact and there are disagreements worldwide, can and should be considered legally liable for any medical and mental damages that even begin to occur to our children under their watch. Thank you. We all know what FCPS should be teaching, and it's not gender ideology. How about some math, science, reading fluently, writing fluently, representing yourself fluently? How about that? I think we need to go back to that. FCPS and this Board of Education can and should do better for every child, every day. Amen. Thank you.